First of all, let no one make any mistake that for a child to be in touch with the Quran is the most important thing that you can give to your child. The Quran itself is going to save their lives later. Their skill and their ability to be able to interact with the Quran later as an adult when they are legally accountable for the rulings of the Quran, for their iman being increased by the Quran, that is being built in early in advance. If you understand the whole approach to salah and hijab, yani having to come into the game before it becomes legally required, then you appreciate that the Quran is the same. The Quran also needs to be brought into the game before they appreciate it. If you're creating a habit in salah for a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old, 10-year-old, before they're even held accountable over it at the age of 13, why do you question the idea that we're going to go in hardcore with the Quran? Of course you are. But do you, unlike in the salah, which you would go in with quite a few formal ideas about how the hand goes and what you say and what you pray, what is the kind of if you like, priority order with the Quran itself? Is it to understand it? Is it to do tajweed? Is it to actually understand all of the ahkam of the makharij, etc., etc., etc.? The answer is no, it's not. Obviously, at a young age, a child doesn't have the ability to be able to understand these kind of things. Obviously, at a young age, the focus is upon bulk. It's about taking as much information into one's memory, not about them reciting it in the greatest way possible. There's a really nice story, and which you'll see in your link below. One of those emails that gets passed around and told to send on to 1,000 people, and if you do, you get Jannah, and if you don't, you go to hellfire. One of those jobs, okay? And it was actually one of the very few that I found actually quite beneficial in terms of the moral behind it. And it's this old guy, he's living on a farm with his young grandson, and his grandfather is telling him every single morning, reciting the Quran himself, and he wants his kid to do it as well. And then the kid one day says, honestly, I try to do that. I try to keep you happy. And, every time that I read it, I just don't understand it. I'm not able to actually, make a connection with it. I just think I'm wasting my time. What good is it really doing to me? And so the grandfather, he's got this kind of fire, a stove, and he puts the coal on the stove. And he goes, listen, what I want you to do is take this bucket that the coal was in, and I want you to go and bring me some water with it. So go down to the river and bring me some water. And then I'll explain to you. So the kid goes, all right, so now it's an empty bucket. He goes all the way down to the river and he fills it up with water. And then when he's walking back, he realizes that the bucket's got holes in it. And so by the time that he gets back to the house, the water's all fallen out. So the grandfather says, well, obviously you're walking too slow. You need to go back there and do the whole thing again. And you need to, run, so that it doesn't all leak out. So the kid goes, all right. So then he goes back and fills the bucket full of water. And then, he runs all the way back and he realizes that it's still all gone when he comes back. And he goes, Granddad, this is not happening. He goes, no, you need to run even faster. You're not trying hard enough. You've got to do it as much as you possibly can. Granddad comes out watching to make sure that, he encourages. The grandson knows that now he's being watched, so he's now going to give full effort. So he fills up the bucket and he absolutely pelts it. And on the way back, he comes, and by the time he gets there, all the water's gone. He goes, look, it's completely a waste of time. It's completely useless. Look, I've got no water. It's useless. So the grandfather says, is it really useless? Have you seen the bucket? And he looks at the bucket, and it is completely different to what it was the first time round. It was a dirty, scratched, old bucket that's full of whatever it was. And after 3 washings now, it's effectively shining clean. It's empty, but it's shining clean. The emptiness is the lack of understanding of the Quran. The emptiness is the lack of memorization of the Quran. But the cleanness is the effect upon the soul. It's the barakah of the approach. It is definitely an amazing message, which is absolutely true. What we do not value is the spiritual benefit of the Quran upon us. What we don't value is, especially when we're young and you get your tongue used to it, when at a later age you might not want to actually read the Quran, at least you won't have a speech impediment towards it. At least you won't have a feeling where I don't want to because I'm too slow or I don't fit in. At least you'll feel comfortable to be able to recite it in the presence of other people. As a teacher, I can tell you that when I am sitting in a group class of Quran, and I like to do that when I take groups on Hajj and Umrah and so on, and we sit down and we do Quran sessions, you will find those folks who did not practice the Quran when they were young, they just do not want to participate. They all have a real desire to want to recite, but they feel too embarrassed. Everyone's on the same level of knowledge. No one knows it, no one's memorized it. But the fact that they did not practice it when they were young, even if they don't know anything about it, actually acts as a real impediment for them joining.
There's an open and close to registration. Click on the button and get access to your student portal before that window closes.